I think that this game demonstrates one of the most vital components a game can have, an all-encompassing aspect of masterwork design and forethought in its overall engineering, something that will really make it stand out from the rest. And what that might be, I hear you ask? Simple. A really, really rockin' theme song. Seriously, listen to Nobody Suspects a Thing even once and tell me it doesn't try to get stuck in your head. I'm going to be humming it the rest of the day, that's for sure. But does an excellent theme song an excellent game make? Join me for a closer look. Greetings everyone, this is the Hipster Snek. Today we'll be having a look at the quirky indie title, Octodad, Dadliest Catch. While technically it's Octodad 2, as the original was a 2010 freeware title headed by a team of 18 college students from DePaul University. 8 of them, plus a new hire, founded the Young Horses team, which, combined with a successful Kickstarter campaign, created what was originally dubbed Octodad 2. It launched the game successfully on PC in 2014, with numerous ports to PS4, PS Vita, Xbox One, Wii U, iOS, Android, and Nintendo Switch over the subsequent 3 years. And this strange game, set in modern suburbia about a normal, everyday guy in a nice suit with a wife and 2 kids, is also secretly the tale of a perfectly average everyday guy going about his modern suburban life. I'm not even joking. You'll start the game, after an amusing flashback to the hero's wedding day, walking around your perfectly average home, mowing the lawn, setting some burgers on the grill for lunch, and helping your children with some of their concerns and curiosities. Just another day in paradise, really. Graphically speaking, the game is quite nice. The world is brightly, vividly colored and well lit, with the textures being mostly smooth and sharp. I'm not sure if it's cel shading per se, but it has some similarities to it, with colors that brightly pop on screen without becoming garish. Special praise must be extended, pun very much intended, to the overall presentation on the protagonist himself. Octodad, and this might surprise some of you, is an octopus, and thus has all 8 of his limbs on display. But at that same time, they took a creature which can look incredibly alien and crafted a character who's rather dashing and endearing in his own right. The cartoonish squash and stretch physics on him just look good, and deliver the proper slapstick style that the goofy presentation allows for. Just a really solid presentation overall. Sound-wise, the music is quite the treat. In addition to the aforementioned theme song, which is my personal favorite, the OST taken as a whole is just fantastic. From the cheery menu theme to the joke rendition of Here Comes the Bride, to the calming everyday tune that accompanies being in the backyard or at the grocery store, it all is just wonderful and life-affirming series of great tracks. To say nothing of the top-notch voice work from the entire cast, and Octodad's iconic blub sounds, really solid work here. Mechanically, you might expect something like this to play like a rage game, and in some later levels I might see that there's an argument for that, but on the whole, not really. Generally speaking, Octodad's rubbery, wonky physics will generally not be a hindrance, particularly as you control each of his limbs independently of the others. Meaning, once you discover that taking small steps is much easier to control than wide, swinging ones, you'll actually find that Octodad moves more like a regular person than you might expect. Using the right stick will move Octodad's right hand, if you'll pardon the anatomically incorrect assessment, and you can lift and set down objects at a button press. Because of this bendy nature, Octodad can grasp items from a distance further than should be physically possible otherwise. Further, use of the triggers in conjunction with the left stick lets you control his respective legs. While your initial baby steps in the shoes of an octopus in a suit may feel wild and uncontrollable, the astute player will soon find comfort in short, controlled bursts of movement instead. Of course, you can also go one step further and play to 4-player co-op, with one player controlling one of Octodad's limbs. Not only does this require communication the likes of which keep talking and no one explodes blush, but also emphasizes the rubber bandish nature of some of the controls. Because of this, Octodad can also throw objects at incredibly high speeds and over great distances when he isn't just knocking them over by casually sauntering by. So many of the in-game maps tend to be boxed in, and items that fall out of bounds will typically respawn in a starting position in the event that you somehow manage to completely mess the situation up for yourself. Not that it isn't immensely fun to ragdoll your way around the world, but randomly slapping passers-by, while incredibly entertaining on its face, is a surefire way of making trouble as well. Your own native movement issues aside, you're governed by a bar that gradually fills up as people become suspicious of you. This includes doing ungentlemanly things, striking random people with flailing limbs, or generally calling attention to yourself. Some things that you might think would demand attention, like walking almost entirely upside down due to a mix of wet tile floors and banana peels, meanwhile, really only worsen your situation on the highest of difficulty settings, or when you're flailing imperils a passing NPC. However, being spotted without your excellent disguise, a suit, and a range of collectible ties found scattered throughout the levels, or in compromising situations, cheating at an arcade game for example, will cause the gauge to rise in proportion to how many people witness the behavior in question. This should give you enough leeway to make mistakes and also have some fun with the game without forcing too many checkpoint reloads. Worth mentioning too is that the devs' great lengths and pains taken to make sure that your reckless abandon won't imperil your progress any. For example, a particular area of the grocery store level was completely redesigned top-down when it was found that a player, with enough determination, could render a particular platforming challenge unwinnable. However, some later levels also introduced stealth mechanics not seen in early stages, and while there are many different solutions to them, not the least is just cartwheeling past the people who can see you and hoping for the best, they do feel a little incongruous and can be somewhat more vexing versus the more relaxed pace of the earlier segments. The game even includes a boss encounter, which just feels wrong to me somehow. Oh yeah, and this is worth mentioning, the game is rather short, lasting just about 3 or 4 hours total, clearly broken up into a series of relatively small and self-contained levels. But, there is more to it than simply navigating from point A to point B. Since the game is objective-based, with you steering Octodad as best you can to complete the different tasks, many of which contain unforeseen complications, like trying to get a frozen pizza out of a freezer in the grocery store, and it ends up sending Octodad careening through the air duct system, being deposited back onto the floor at both the speed and grace of a Looney Tunes sketch. And this is where I must bring up one of the game's greatest strengths, its sense of humor. The game is excellently written and paced such that you not only see a touching story about a family reconciling their differences, you also get the frenetic tale of a crazed sushi chef, named Fujimoto, chasing down Octodad, proclaiming in increasingly frustrated ramblings that he must be an octopus. He also mentions something about the war, but that's left purposely vague. Don't sweat it, it's an audio gag. And the world, be it gameplay or cutscene, is positively peppered with the team's distinct comedy stylings. From references to the posters on the walls to the quick whip between characters mid-dialogue, or blink and you'll miss it jokes, it's all just wonderful.
See, when the red light's on, the speaker is off. That means it's safe for me to talk about how we get our meat from... What? What is it? Oh, geez. What I was saying was, it's safe to talk about how we get our meat from... nowhere. Gervisons.
The captain told me real stinky. Well, what? Come on. Why did the cod cross the road? To get to the other side. We should consider me.
Were I to issue a complaint, well, I already have. The game is criminally short, even with the addition of 2 mini-episodes released as free content later on. And the last leg of the campaign demands a lot of technical skill from a game that starts off as a very goofy, open-world experience. It sort of felt like they wanted a boss battle because, well, that's just what you do at the end of the game. But beyond that, I loved it. It's a fun, quirky, hilarious, and heartwarming story about an octopus who got tired of being in the sea, walked onto land, and started a new life there instead. As said, it's on every platform there is, so pick it up for yourselves and give it a whirl. I promise if anything I said here today sounds even remotely promising, you'll enjoy every whimsical moment of it. And this has been the Snek, bringing today a new bit of N-D-X-Cellence. Ah, you thought I would say Snek Dad, didn't you? If you liked today's video, tap the like button so I know. Also hit the subscribe and bell icon so you'll always be alerted to when new content goes live each week. It goes a long way helping the channel grow. You can also hear more from me over on the Tomodachi Bros, Podbean, and YouTube mirrors, where we talk anime, movies, games, and more. Our plethora of social media links available in every description every time. And join me here each week from our obscure reviews, N-D-X-Cellence, and more. And I will see you there. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. And if you're still watching, I just wanted to let you guys know that I wanted to extend a big thank you to all my viewers for helping us recently break the 250 subs milestone. That is crazy to me. The fact that we did it so quickly is all thanks to you and you guys supporting me, and it means the world to me. So I want to give a little something back in return. Between now and the time we hit the 500 subs mark, both on my YouTube discussion page tab and over at my Twitter at Hipster Snek. There is now an open AMA, or Ask Me Anything, where you guys can ask as many questions as you want. When we hit the 500 subs mark, I will sit down, make the video, and answer every question that doesn't get me banned off YouTube. The posts are already there and pinned, awaiting your input. I'm curious to see what you guys are curious about. So I'll see you at the 500 subs mark and with all the answers that you've been craving. And I will see you there.